Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Salesforce Ben LinkedIn Live. So my name is Zaina Dar, and I'm the events content producer at Salesforce Ben. And I'm really excited to be your host for today's event, Improving Salesforce Setup, starting with user access. So while we wait for everyone to join, let us know where you're logging in from today. We always love to see what a global audience we have attending. So today we're joined by Cheryl Feldman and Ben Sklar from Salesforce, who are here with us today to introduce to you the new setup platform that will transform how you manage user access in Salesforce. So Cheryl and Ben will kind of walk us through the exciting new features that this platform brings, and you'll also want to stick around for some insights into what's coming for the winter release and beyond. So Cheryl, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I am Cheryl Feldman. I am a product manager and product area lead at Salesforce, covering all of the user access features. So I'm the top level owner for user. I own permission sets, permission set groups, the entire permissions framework, org-wide defaults, sharing rules, set up audit trail, delegated admin, a lot of features. And so we are really, really excited to be here today, and also really excited to take all of your questions.
Fab, thank you. And you, Ben?
Hey everyone, I'm Ben Sklar. I'm a senior product manager here at Salesforce, and I work on our backend data and UI services, including UI API, which powers the Lightning experience, our GraphQL API, the Connect framework, and now the setup platform. So we're really excited today to talk more about that.
Fab, thank you. So before we get started, just a few house rules. So as this is a webinar, all lines are muted, but don't worry, we'll be having a Q&A at the end for you to ask Cheryl and Ben any burning questions you may have. So feel free to submit the questions in the comments throughout the webinar. The webinar will also be recorded and will be available on our Salesforce Ben LinkedIn and YouTube channel, just in case you need to drop off or would like to share it with your colleagues. Great. Well, I'll hand it over to you guys to take us through the presentation, and I'll see you at the end for the Q&A.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about improving Salesforce setup, starting with user access. We already did intros, but hey everyone, I'm Ben Sklar. I'm a senior product manager here at Salesforce. And before we get too far into it, please bear in mind we're going to be talking a lot about the future, and we're going to be making a lot of forward-looking statements. So please only make purchasing decisions on what is commercially available today, not what may or may not come in the future. So with that, we hear you in terms of hearing all of the things you've been saying about setup. Feedback is a gift, and we really appreciate all feedback, whether it's positive or negative feedback. It helps us to bring the best features and products for all of you. So please keep giving us your feedback. Here are some of the things that we've heard and that I want to talk about. This is not an exhaustive list of the challenges with setup, but these are some of the things that we're working to fix. So starting from here, we have heard some of our complaints about inconsistent design. Some of you have mentioned to us that setup looks like it was designed by a lot of different teams who may or may not talk to each other. And we really want to improve upon this. We want to start bringing consistency into setup to make it easier for all of you. And for the next one, steep learning curve, right? It's not easy to use setup, especially for newer admins. And even for our more seasoned admins, we could be doing a better job and bring the tools that you need to be successful. So we really want to improve the ease of use in setup. Also on that front, we have heard about the accessibility challenges that you all have, especially with some of our pages that are still in Classic. We want to start bringing some of our Classic pages into Lightning and improve accessibility. This is really top of mind for us moving forward. Another challenge is lack of discovery. And so when it comes to figuring out, okay, what are the features that my org has purchased? How do I turn those on? We want to make that all easier as well. So now let's talk about some of the challenges that you have with user access specifically. And for this, we've heard troubleshooting takes way too much time. Some of our features are difficult to learn and use, and tasks require too many clicks. I've heard Some of our experiences can take dozens, hundreds, even thousands of clicks, which is just really way too many. We need to do a better job going forward. And you're going to see soon we have some exciting new features that are going to reduce this tremendously. So let's talk about fixing setup. And while we would love to fix setup all at once, that is not possible. That's like trying to boil the entire ocean. And so what we need to do is to break setup down into smaller buckets. So if we think about what is the most used area inside of setup, that's the user access and user management areas and features. And so taking that and boiling just this one bucket is much easier than us trying to boil and fix all of setup all at once. And so why are we starting with user access? Sure, it's the most used area in setup with 1 in every 3 clicks inside of setup to the user access and user management features. But it also is a top case driver into support. You're spending a lot of time working on cases, talking to support when it comes to troubleshooting and granting access. In fact, you're spending 20% of your time just on troubleshooting. And if we think about the work week as being 5 days, that means you're spending a full day every week just on troubleshooting, which is just way too much time. We would love for you to spend that time elsewhere. And there's still over 500,000 points in the user access areas for us to bring new features. So there's a lot of things we can do with user access. And so you're going to see all that soon. But how are we going to fix all of setup, right? And the way to do that is to build a reusable platform framework. And the user access area is the first consumer of this framework. But what exactly are we doing? So we're creating this UI framework for setup where we're bringing a library of components that can be used across setup. So in this example, we have a summary component. But what this really gets us is reusability. So we can innovate faster than we ever had before. We can bring consistency into setup and accessible experiences. You can build a component once, use it everywhere, instead of building a bunch of different bespoke experiences on every setup page or node. So we're building this reusable platform framework, and it's allowing us to bring new features into setup really quickly to give you all the tools you need to be successful in your jobs. And then we can start moving experiences in setup from classic to lightning. So just to recap a little bit, we're bringing this new setup framework that the user access area is the first consumer of. And with it, we're bringing improved experiences, new features, and value right away. And eventually, we'll be moving more experiences from classic to lightning to bring consistency and accessibility for everyone. And it's also going to allow us to start building and bringing Copilot for admins. So rather than creating a case, you can ask Copilot questions like, why can user A see the account objects, but user B cannot? Why is that happening? You can also ask Copilot for help with configuration and discovering features and figuring out what are the features your org might have purchased but aren't enabled yet. So there's a lot of awesome things coming up. Now, some of what I'm saying is in the more distant future. However, some of it is actually coming right now. And so I'm here to tell you the future is now. And I'm going to pass it over now to Cheryl, who's going to show us all these new user access features coming in summer. And then she's going to give us a live demo. Cheryl, over to you.
Yep. You're still going to run the slides, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So something I'm really excited to announce is that user access policies are now generally available in the summer release. If you have not used this feature, which has been in beta for almost a year now, this allows you as an admin to set criteria about your users. This criteria can be attribute-based, meaning fields on the user record, whether it's a standard field or a custom field, or it can be entitlements, meaning a user is in a specific profile, or a user is assigned to a specific permission set or in a specific public group. And then based on that, you can automatically apply access. And what I mean by that is you can automate a policy that when a user is created or updated, you can assign automatically assign and apply access. And you can apply permission sets, permission set groups, permission set licenses, package licenses. Those are your App Exchange package licenses, as well as public groups and queues. Now, if you have more of a use case where you are just moving around a lot of access, or you are doing more of a one-time, you can use the user access policy to mass change around access. And one of the great and powerful things about user access policies is this allows you to have both a grant and a revoke option. And so it's really great. And we also have a new feature that's on user access policies that we're going to build out in the future, called user access change. When you're on a user access policy, you will be able to see all of the changes that happened to a specific set of users during when that policy ran, which will be extremely important as you activate policies. All this information is still tracked in Setup Audit Trail, but what this does is it starts to build the connection between user and Setup Audit Trail, which is what customers have been asking for a long time, to be able to see access changes against user. Now, being able to see like a true access history on user is on my roadmap, but it's further out. But this capability actually starts that process. And one thing I also wanted to mention is with the beta, you were able to have 20 active user access policies. With the summer release, you'll be able to have 200, as well as order them, so you can decide which policy will fire first if a user meets multiple policies that you have set up. And next slide. And then I'm also really excited to announce the user access summary. This is something that we've been hearing from customers for a while, is that you're on a user record and they have so many permission set groups, their profile. So what is it that they actually have access to do? And so this enables you to see that in one click, instead of having to click into every single permission set and figure it out. Next slide. And then this is kind of what started it all. A couple of releases ago, I think it was 2 releases ago, we introduced the permission set and permission set group summary view, which was in beta. Now this is generally available. And what you'll notice is when I do the live demo that all of these summaries are reusing the same component. So that summary component that you're seeing, that was the initial component that Ben and his teams delivered for the setup platform that we're reusing. So this has moved into a new experience that is in a tabbed experience, as well as we've also added custom permissions. In addition to this, from the permission set summary, you will be able to see which permission set groups this permission set is used in, as well as from the permission set group summary, you can see which permission sets are included in that permission set group, and you can actually click in between the 2 summaries. And next slide. And then the last summary that we've delivered is on public group access summary. So public groups can be used everywhere in the platform, and I do want to recognize that. However, what we tried to do with this release is show you the top 5 features where public groups are used, and so you can see them within one click. Today, without this, you are not able to see this in the platform at all. You have to be very, very, very good with SACL. So what we're showing on the public group access summary is by object, which sharing rules this public group is used in, which report and dashboard folders this public group is used in, which other public groups are included, this public group is included in, as well as which list views by object are shared with this public group. Next slide. And something else we've been hearing a lot from our customers is just your need for more granular access. Prior to the summer release, if you wanted to grant access to a user to view the login history on a user, or to see the reports with login history, or to actually download that information, you would have had to give the full managed users permission. Same with the ability to freeze users. So what we have done with the summer release is you will see 2 new permissions under the managing users section of your permission set, which is the ability to freeze users and the ability to monitor login history. Now, for those users who already have the full managed users permission, they will automatically get this, and these two permissions are dependent on the managed user's permission. However, and what that means is if you give the full managed user's permission, these permissions will get checked, similar to how all of the other granular permissions work under managed users. However, you can give these two permissions independently without the full managed user's permission. So this is something that I was super excited about. And we already have a lot of customers that are already very excited about it and can't wait for this to come into production. Next slide. And something else that we're working on, back to Ben's feedback, we are partnering with some of the product team in Sales Cloud. And that's kind of where we're starting with, is what we've heard from customers, specifically when set up, especially when we're introducing a new feature or there's a new feature you want to use, it's so hard for you to discover how to actually set up that feature. There may be a ton of steps that you need to do. You need to turn on the feature. You need to assign permission sets and permission set groups. You need to do other pieces of configuration. And it's this long list of things that you have to follow in a help and training article. And it takes a lot of time to figure that out. So what we're starting to do is we're trying to see if we can help admins quickly discover within setup, you have a new feature, we've introduced a new feature or a feature that you may have access to and you're not using, exactly how to turn that on in a set of steps that's almost like a checklist that you can see right in setup. So we'll give you a preview into that, and this is in pilot. And if you're interested in this pilot, please reach out to your account executive. And now let's get into the demos. So I'm going to switch over to my screen. Okay, great. One thing I wanted to call out is, in addition to all of these great features, we've heard a lot of feedback from you around our documentation. Our documentation needed to be updated. Our Trailhead modules needed to be updated. We heard you, and we have a lot more coming. We've essentially reworked, and it went live this week, our entire user management section. Things were dispersed all over the place. So whether you're managing internal users or external users, they were all over help and training. We've condensed everything into our help and training section under managing users and data access, as well as we have introduced this new page that kind of guides you on all of the different things that you would need to know about user access. As well as we've also started to put in help and training guidance on when you should use permission sets, when you should use permission set groups, and when you should use a profile. I know we've done a number of presentations at events like TDX and Dreamforce about this, but what we're trying to do is provide you with official guidance. As well as we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to be delivering in the future. As we start delivering new troubleshooting tools, we also want to provide you guidance on what you should do on troubleshooting. Our previous troubleshooting documents, we had not so great feedback on. And so we listened. And so what we've done is we've tried to put together steps for you on troubleshooting. This is all available in help and training. Once we get into the questions, I'm sure we can share a link to get to this, but this is all available in help and training today. So definitely check that out. And again, thank you for all of your very honest and candid feedback, because we do take it very seriously. Now, let's jump into the demo. So I'm here on a user record, and you can see that this user has 10 permission sets assigned and 6 permission set groups assigned, and they have a profile. So what does this user actually have access to do? Do I need to click into every single permission set and figure that out? That would be so time consuming, or I have to be very good at SQL. Well, I'm excited to announce in the summer release, you can click on View Summary, and you can see in one click the user permissions that this user has access to, the object permissions that this user has access to and their level of access, the field permissions and the level of access, any custom permissions, their public group membership, and their queue membership. So what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to help you understand a user's access in a lot less clicks rather than having to click into every single permission set and every single permission set group. And I'll talk a little bit more about this from a roadmap perspective, but one of the most common questions we get is, well, okay, that's great. This user has edit tasks, but where are they actually getting this from? That's actually coming in Winter 25, forward-looking statement, but I can tell you that my teams are already working on that. And then if we actually come to one of the permission sets that was assigned to Chloe, many of you had been using the view summary that was in beta, and I've gotten so much great feedback on it. We've made a lot of improvements to it based on your feedback. And so now, as you see, it's in our reusable setup component. So what we're trying to do is provide consistency throughout setup. So you can see which permission set groups this permission set is included in, the user permissions, object permissions, field permissions by object, as well as the custom permissions. And I don't believe this permission set has them. But what I do want to touch on is that I can click here. So this is the permission set group, one of the permission set groups this permission set is used in. And I can go right to the summary of the permission set group. And then I can just come back if I want to go back into the permission set summary. So what we're trying to do, instead of having you to go back out to the permission set group, is keep you and help you kind of navigate a little bit better and reduce all of those clicks. Now, the last summary that I want to cover is the public group summary. So this is a public group, All America Sales. So where is this used? This can be used in so many different places. So let's click on View Summary. And so we're going to see very quickly that this is used in an account sharing rule. I can also navigate to other objects and see which sharing rules this public group is used in. And I can see both owner-based and criteria-based. I can see report and dashboard folders and the level of access. I can see if this is included in other public groups, as well as list views by object that are being shared by this public group. Now, the last demo that I want to show you is on this new discovery feature. And so this is a feature that is available, and I'm trying to figure out, how do I turn it on? How do I set it up? So I'm brought to this page where I can see a list of steps and links to this. Now, in the future, we're looking at improving this, but we want your feedback. We're going to be providing a survey. We want your feedback. Do you think having something like this within setup, where you're able to see a list of steps to actually configure something, whether it's a new feature that's coming out or a feature that you haven't been using, or maybe a feature you didn't even know that was available to you based on your licensing, and how to very quickly set it up and turn it on. We want to know your feedback because we want to take this. We believe this will help you a lot. And so we're collaborating with a couple of different teams in Sales Cloud that we're going to see if we can bring this to other features in the platform in the future. Now, what I want to do is I want to go through our roadmap very quickly. So let's do that. So let's recap a little bit. So here is what we delivered in summer 24. So user access policies is generally available. The user access summary is available, so you can see what a user has access to from a permission standpoint in one click. The permission set and permission set group summary is now generally available in our setup component, and you now have custom permissions, as well as the ability to see the permission set groups this is included in, and clicking through to the other summaries, as well as a public group summary, and then also some general enhancements around the more granular permissions for freezing users and monitoring login history. And then what I didn't include here is just all of the doc updates that we've done, but we'll put that, 'cause it's not really a feature, but I did want to mention it because I know we get a lot of feedback on it. And then in winter, here's what we hope to bring. Again, forward-looking statement is from the user access summary, being able to see where our user is getting access from. We're going to bring an access summary and object manager, so you'll be able to see which permission sets, permission set groups, and profiles are granting access to that object. And eventually in the future, maybe even an edit there, so you can edit right from object manager. The user list view, we're moving that to Lightning. I know many of you have perf issues with the user list view, so we've started work on that. And that also includes the ability to inline edit from the user list view. So we've started that process. And then also an improved experience for managing public group membership. And we're also starting to, you're going to see some features to help you troubleshoot for object CRUD. And then we're also adding a description field on public groups and queues. And then for Spring 25 and beyond, we're going to continue improving the admin experience, continue with troubleshooting and general enhancements. Some big things that are from the idea exchange are on here: ability to clone user, field history tracking on user, and we are going to be giving some delegated admin some much needed love. But I do want to mention that just because that we've delivered summaries in this release does not mean that we are not going to continue to enhance these summaries. I can't include every single enhancement that we're going to do on the high level roadmap, but we've heard your feedback on the public group summary. I'm reading your comments on the idea exchange, and I know we have more work to do there. There's more features to include. This was just the initial release of it. We are not done. This is not a one and done release. We have a lot more coming, and we're really, really excited about it. And Ben, is there anything else that you wanted to call out from our roadmap perspective?
Just that, as Cheryl mentioned, we are still bringing more features in the future. We started with the summary as kind of the first reusable component that we're building as part of this platform, but we've got more components that are going to be coming soon. I think you might have already called out list views, but there are more things to come. So we're excited about all of that too.
Yep. And so we want to leave a lot of time. We know a lot of you probably have questions. I'm open to answering any questions about the features that we've delivered in this release, or anything about any of the user access features that are in my area. So we want to open it up for questions.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that really insightful presentation, guys. Hopefully everyone attending now feels empowered to implement the new setup platform features discussed today. So without further ado, it's time for our Q&A. So if you have any questions for Cheryl and Ben, please feel free to submit them in the comments below, and we'll try to get around to as many as possible. Okay, so let's see. Will user access policies work with the manager field?
That's actually an enhancement we are making. I hope to bring it into the winter release, but yes, that is a standard field that we've had some challenges with, but that is something that I hope to have there for the winter release.
Cool, thank you. So I tried the new UAPs in beta, and they put the perms on every user. Is the GA showing extensive positive tests?
They put on every user, even though they didn't meet the criteria. I would love, Christy, if you could reach out to me. You can send me a message on LinkedIn. I would love to understand more what happened there, because I have not heard that issue before. So I'd love to look in more detail what happened there.
Okay, fab. So is this limited to Sales Cloud only?
I think Andrew is referring to the feature discovery. So the initial release, yes, but we hope to expand this to other areas once we get some more feedback with our partners in Sales Cloud on this feature.
Okay. So on the topic of permissions, when will we have the ability to not give a user modifiable data permission, to just use the login as an end user feature?
So we don't have an exact date for this yet. I know it is something that is highly requested and comes up a lot. I will talk to my product partners that actually own the login as feature and see if we can move this a little bit. I do think, so part of one of the things that delegated admin does is you can say the users who are managing these status users can log in, but it also gives a lot of access around users. So what I've been thinking there is maybe we bring more features to delegated admin around saying, okay, this user or users can just log in as this controlled set of users that you identify. I have some options that I've been thinking about, but I don't have a defined date yet.
Okay, nice. Can we report/export any of this information we see in the summary in this new organized format?
So not yet. However, this is the number one question that Ben and I get whenever we talk about these summaries. And so the answer is I'm looking in to see what we can do there. I'm actually going to put an idea on the idea exchange because I want to gather some feedback on what you expect there, because there's so much data that's in there. If you didn't think about the user access summary, how would you want that extract to look? What would you want to be in there? So that it's something I'm thinking about, but I think we need a little bit more customer feedback on what you want there. I don't want to just necessarily just pull everything into a CSV, because I want it to make sense when we do that. And so on my list of things I know we need to address, but don't have a date or exactly what we're going to do there yet.
Okay. So how can we use the Sales Cloud Everywhere Chrome extension?
That one I'm not sure of. We will have to get back to you on that one.
Okay, cool. So how does the new setup platform integrate with other Salesforce products and solutions to provide a seamless user experience?
Ben, did you want to take that?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah,
Zana?
sure. How does the new setup platform integrate with other Salesforce products and solutions?
I see. So what we're doing with the Salesforce platform is we're really bringing a library of components to be used within setup along with APIs to access data and metadata for those components. And right now, this platform is really used just to enhance the features like you saw with user access. Eventually, we really want feedback though. And so like, do our ISVs want access to some of these APIs that we're building to access setup data and metadata? These new components, are there experiences that partners and ISVs want to build? So we want to hear feedback first. Right now it is internal only, but we are thinking about making it public. And so with feedback, we can think about how that looks. So.
Okay, cool. So what steps are being taken to ensure ongoing support and updates for the new setup platform?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're thinking about what are the most important features that our customers want. And so it's really helpful when we have ideas on the idea exchange, comments and feedback from customers. We can then determine what are the most important components that we can bring. And also when we have challenges, whether it's accessibility or usability within setup, where are we having those challenges? Typically they're classic experiences. And so we think about what will the new experience look like in Lightning? And then we start building out the functionality so that we can start moving over from classic to Lightning as well.
Okay, nice. Are there any training resources or best practices available to help admins effectively use the new setup platform?
Yeah, so right now, the value for our admins, you're seeing these new features in the user access and user management space. As Cheryl alluded to, there's some amazing new documentation that was just released and launched there that she showcased. So definitely start there. And that's really where I would point these admins at first.
Okay, thank you. Do we have an estimate on when the feature discovery will be available in other clouds other than sales?
TBD. We want to see your feedback first, and then we're looking to take this larger based on your feedback. But it sounds like, Adrian, that you really like it, and so you want it everywhere. So that's good to hear. But we will share a link to the survey. We do want your feedback. So please fill out the survey. We want to know what you think. We want to know what would help you, even if it's things that we haven't showed today, things that I haven't covered. We want to know.
Okay, fab. What considerations should admins keep in mind when transitioning to the new setup platform?
I wouldn't say there's anything you actually need to do. It's going to be there. It's an underlying framework. So there's nothing you actually need to do. So you'll start to see the benefit of it.
That's right. You will start seeing more consistent experiences. As you saw with all those summaries Cheryl showed, they all look and feel very much the same. It's built off the same component. And they even moved their previous summary component, which was a more bespoke experience, into this new summary component that you see across all the different summaries. So,
okay, cool. We've got a suggestion here from Mark to include a short demo video in each feature discovery.
That's a great idea. Well, we will definitely pass that on, and please put that in the survey so we can track it.
Yeah, and that survey has been shared through the chat, so please go and check that out. Okay, so how does the new setup platform improve the overall user experience for admins compared to the previous versions?
So as you could see with the summaries, a lot of what you were able to get was in just one click, and it was fairly performant at that as well. So we're bringing more usability, consistency, reducing the number of clicks for admins. Cheryl, do you want to add anything else?
No, I think that covers it, and I think I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how to help you make decisions and how to reduce clicks when you're actually having to take an action and set up. Like, there's things I want to do beyond what I've showed on the roadmap to reduce that. Thinking about like how we can help you understand the impact of your changes, but having a consistent experience under the hood and consistent APIs under the hood will actually help us get there faster.
One thing I'll add too is a lot of what you saw has been more on the read side and being able to see the information in one place and have a view of it. We want to bring write support here as well. So you can start, as Cheryl mentioned, taking action right there on some of these new features, but also give more information about how this is going to then affect things. So as one example, let's say you are going to be changing a permission on a permission set. How many users is this going to affect? And today you may not get that information, but that's something that we want to bring to our admins so that they're knowledgeable about the changes they make. So.
Okay, cool. So yeah, just a reminder, this session is being recorded and will be available on our Salesforce Ben, LinkedIn, and also YouTube channel. So go and check that out for the complete version of the presentation. So what specific improvements have been made to enhance security measures within the new setup platform?
So regarding security, of course, it's our top priority with trust. So right now, a lot of these access points for us to get the data metadata is internal only. If we do bring, so we still are working with security. If you're interested in some of these APIs that we've developed, as we have outside of setup, a whole suite of APIs with Connect, with our GraphQL API, with UI API, and as we're developing some of these things for setup, I know ISVs and partners might be interested. Again, we want your feedback so that we can work with security to bring you some of these APIs if you're interested in using them. But for right now, it's internal only and secured that way.
And I think, and I'm not sure if the question was coming from the security of the overall platform, or how does it help admins manage security better? So I'll answer that part of the
Okay.
question. And so, because I'm not sure in what context they were asking, but how does it help you manage security? I think, so one thing we know is admins struggle a lot of times with over permissioning or understanding what's actually in a permission set or how a permission set is used, where it's used. Same with public groups. This starts, and believe me, we are not done. This starts to help you discover that, but there's a lot more that we want to bring. Remember, this is essentially the first release of any features on the new setup platform. And we were able to essentially do all of this in one release. So we have a lot more coming over the next, I would say, to really get where I want to go. We essentially have a 2-year roadmap.
Okay, fab. And how does the new setup platform address scalability concerns for organizations with rapidly growing user bases or complex Salesforce configurations?
I'll say this, we are using the same frameworks that I had already mentioned with UI API, GraphQL, etc. Our APIs scale. We are used over 6 billion times per day. It's all built on the same frameworks. So scalability is built in mind. I know we have challenges with some of our classic experiences today, but as we move those to Lightning, scalability is critically important. We want to be able to support when customers have, let's say, millions of external users that they're trying to manage access for. And so this is top of mind for us. And our APIs scale.
Yeah. Great.
And from a performance standpoint, and also a complex configurations. If you're talking about an org with thousands of sharing roles, thousands of public groups, millions of users, millions of sites, millions of different objects, or I would say thousands of different objects with thousands of different fields, we are taking that into consideration, which is why we've done some of the things we've done. We need to really pressure test and perf test some of these experiences and APIs, but we will improve them over time, especially as you get into orgs with millions and millions of users.
Cool. Well, those appear to be all the questions we've got. So yeah, we're coming up to 45 minutes, so I'm happy to wrap things up. But yeah, thank you so much for everything, guys. Thank you for attending, everybody who's tuned in, and we hope you feel equipped with valuable insights to optimize your Salesforce setup process. So feel free to connect with Cheryl and Ben.
Oh, I just saw actually another question come in. Are user access policies deployable? Yes, they are available through the metadata API. And so we did have a bug, but that should be fixed now. But please let me know if you have any issues. But yes, they should be available through the metadata API, and they are also available for both first generation and second generation packaging.
Great, thank you. Cool. So yeah, if you have any further questions, feel free to connect with Ben and Cheryl on LinkedIn. I'd like to give a massive thank you to both of you, Cheryl and Ben, for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. And before we round up, any final words?
No, we look forward to hearing your feedback. As Ben said, all feedback is a gift. So positive, negative, we want to know, because we're only one release away for improving everything. So we want to hear your feedback, and we're excited to get these features into your hands.
Cool. Nice. And you, Ben?
I was going to say the same thing. Please keep letting us know your feedback with these new features we're developing. And if there's anything that you saw missing from our roadmap, let us know. We'd love to hear what you're thinking about. We'd love to hear about your experiences with these new features that we're delivering on top of the setup platform, these new summaries. Please let us know, and we'll go from there.
Nice, thank you. Well, thank you again to everyone for attending, and we hope to see you again for our next webinar soon. Take care, everybody.